Fisher, the host of Agency OS podcast, and we are pleased to welcome you today to our first episode ever.
First episode. I'm Elijah Delvalar. I am co-host. I'm excited for this. This is something we've been wanting to do for a long time. Like a long
Very long time.
This is great. I guess we should probably just like introduce ourselves and kind of talk about what the heck we do and who we are. So Tanya, who are you?
I am the head of operations at Agency Coach. I have worked with Mike and AJ for almost 8 years now as of this recording. And I basically make sure that everything that's happening inside of Agency Coach is serving our community to the highest levels possible and I keep everything moving internally. So,
And she does.
I mean,
She's
there's a whole Tanya that's outside of Agency Coach, but I don't know.
That's
if we
true.
will go there quite
That's
yet.
true.
It's the first episode.
We'll get there.
That
That's the
could
first
be-
episode. We'll get there. I
We
had
might
this
wanna
idea
ease
for
them
one.
into it.
Yeah, I have this idea for a future episode where like we tier rank all the places we've been of like the best to worst.
Ooh,
So
I like
I'm
that.
excited for that because then we'll learn a lot more about us. I am the social media manager and content manager for Agency Coach as well. I've been here for about 3.5 years as of this recording now. I've been with Agency Coach, and it's been a really fun ride. It's been a wild ride, just because content is ever changing and unfolding and stuff. But I've enjoyed it. I've had pretty spectacular people to work with, so it helps out a lot. And this is our big push of like we're gonna just experiment with content. I'm curious, what is if you were to if no one let me try this. I'm like stuttering like crazy. Let's try this again. If someone didn't know what Agency Coach was, Tanya, how would you explain it to them?
That's a really good question because a lot of people ask me, what do I do? And I feel like I've spent my whole life trying to explain what I do because I used to be a project manager and people are like, what does that mean?
Right.
So here's how I say it. I go, look, Agency Coach is a business coaching company. We specifically coach people in the digital marketing space. So anyone who is serving their community in the form of digital types of marketing, so websites, ads, like social content, like we were just talking about, that you manage for us, right? So typically our community is made up of members who are working with other businesses in their community. Those businesses need help with their digital marketing because they're busy running their business, and they are often just small to medium sized companies in the community. And some of them are a little bit bigger. I'm generalizing. So what I say is we coach those people who are serving other businesses. So it's a business to business, B2B type of situation. But we're coaches. And the reason that we became coaches is because our founders, Mike and AJ, had an agency, have to this day an agency. And that agency is serving the Tucson community. And they learned a lot from doing that. And they decided, hey, let's go be coaches. So Agency Coach was born from an agency. And now we're out there helping other digital agencies do what we do at Anchor Wave.
When did Agency Coach start again? Was it 2020?
Technically, we became official in 2020.
Okay.
But Mike and AJ had started leaning into that space in probably 2017, I think.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's when they built their first course that they knew would help people about reviews and reputation management. So that was built and they started selling that in a webinar in 2017. And then by 2020, when the pandemic hit, we shut everything down, including the office that was in Tucson. They said, let's go all in on coaching. So we did.
It's cool. And here we are.
And then we started making up like more coaching programs and how we wanted to help people.
Right. Yeah.
More clarity.
No, that's super cool. Yeah.
When did you start working with us?
January 2022. It's a beautiful like starting work the first month of the year because it's so easy to remember.
Right.
Because every year is a new year at work. But yeah, I think it was like January 17th because I had oh my gosh, I'm gonna tell everyone my age at this point. Everyone's gonna be like, "You're a child." I
Here
started
you are.
working here when I was 19, and I remember because I've been doing video work and video editing since I was 8 years old. So I was working summer of 2021. I was working at a bagel shop, making sandwiches and stuff. And I remember a friend of mine who also did editing, which was Elise, which she worked with us for a little bit.
Yeah.
Her mom was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm looking for work. Maybe go back to a bit," because it was like a 3 month thing. It was like a summer gig, and she's like, "You do video editing and you do it good or well, whatever the grammar is on that. You should go get a job in that." And I'm like, I don't know. I was being really difficult about it, and she was like, "Please, just humor me and look for a job." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I found out about Upwork, got on there, and that's where I saw Mike had posted because he had made a personal channel for a second of like disaster prepping, like
Oh
pretty much
yes.
like storing beans
Yeah, that
in
he did.
buckets.
He did that right after the pandemic. Yep.
Because that was a big thing, and my dad was doing stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, this should be easy enough. And I think I edited for him for maybe 2 weeks doing that, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to come work for my company? Actually, like we're trying to do more content. If you want to come actually work for me instead of just like this gig work." I'm like, "Sure, why not? That sounds great."
I think that was
I
around the time that Mike created a bunch of really awesome content for Agency Coach
Yeah.
with a
Oh my
lot of
gosh.
videos that were really helping people with a lot of tips and
We
tricks
were
and things like
we
that.
were posting one YouTube video a day for the whole year, just about, which
Yeah,
is
it was
insane.
there was a lot going on
Like
with
it
video
was a
content.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, which a lot of it didn't even get used or done right. So we've been using it like more recently. But
yeah.
man,
They're
that was I remember
timeless
that.
stories and timeless tips and tricks. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's true. I remember first joining, like when I was first getting on, I was like, "Whoa, this is a lot of work." I'm not used. I mean, like
yeah.
I would crank out videos as a kid, but nothing like this. Because on top of like YouTube, it was like, "Oh, we also have like 3-hour webinars we need you to edit," and that was when I did that. And I don't do that anymore because we all said,
Yeah.
that's not, we're not doing that anymore." But yeah, so I relate to what you're saying about when people ask you like, "What do you do?" I've had such struggle saying that throughout all of my professional career because like, oh, okay, well, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, I do social media management, I do photography, I do video editing, I do motion graphics, I do graphic design, I do producing, like
Right.
thing over thing over thing over thing. And
Right.
so I remember, I don't know, a year ago or so, I finally was like, okay, media management. That's what I do. That
Yeah, that's a
covers
good.
all of that.
Yeah, that's like I can just say I'm an operations manager because
Right.
there's a huge umbrella that covers operations management. So
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
I understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's easier to just find that commonality or common term. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And sometimes I can just be so brutally honest too that like because then if someone asks me a question, I'm gonna answer it. And then they're like, "So what do you do?" After I just gave them a 10-minute explanation of what I do. They're like, so what is that? And it's like, okay, it's media management. All right.
Project management was never something that I could get described properly either when I did that. Eventually it became a very common term and especially well known in any of the software industries. But well, what happened was I was actually doing a lot of data reporting types of things
Mm.
in a bank. It was a mortgage lending company in the San
Oh,
Francisco
okay.
area. And then somebody that I worked with asked if I was interested in becoming a project manager. And so she kind of mentored me into a role. And I ended up doing project management specifically in software projects. So it was like software implementations, software upgrades, migrations, things like that. So I did that there at that company. I also did like operational efficiency and improvement projects. So that was kind of like that was a lot of how can we do this better? How can we be more efficient? Which is where that operations part of me comes from, I'm sure, because it's like, we can do this faster. We can do it better. We can have more accurate data coming out of it,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, so I did the software stuff, the software project management around the Bay Area, worked at some of the bigger companies, even like Juniper Networks or Adobe and stuff like that, which was fun. It was a really good experience.
Super cool.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it comes with a lot of stress because it's, there's a lot, you're running multi-million and there's a lot of
Oh yeah.
stakeholders involved and it gets a little crazy. So I
can
wanted a
only
life
imagine.
back.
Honestly, no, I can only imagine.
I love getting up
Yeah.
at 5 a.m. and being in my commute vehicle by 7 a.m. so that I can get to the
And
South
being
Bay.
so stressed by 7:30, like it's
Right?
it just
If you don't leave by
rough.
7 a.m., you're never going to make it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a little wild there.
Crazy.
That's for sure. I wonder how much
Yeah.
that has changed since I've been there. With more people working from home and stuff like that. It's curious to
Yeah.
me.
I feel like corporates involving just so worldwide of just how social media is and how like not just like social media like the apps and stuff, but like the literal social part of the media, like people being more quote unquote laxed about like, okay, things, it's not the 80s, it's not the 90s where, you have to be like in the office by this time and otherwise nothing's going to happen. It's like you can send an email from home and then go back to sleep if you want to. Like, so a lot of companies I feel like are accepting that type of like leniency. Previously to working here, I was never in any form of business or business coaching. I learned so much through here. I learned enough through here to start my own business and
Yeah.
keep that running and gain clients from there. But I was in construction before. Like my dad's owned construction companies since I was born, so I've been working construction since I was a kid and doing electrical, and that's what I did after the coffee shop for a bit. But that also, every job comes with its challenges. Like I really enjoy it. I do miss it sometimes, and I like when I can get to go back to work every once in a while. But you know, when you have clients that don't pay and splinters in your hand and
Right.
asphyxiation from asbestos dust that you didn't realize was there but
Well, here's the funny story. The funny story is that my degree in college was film,
I forget that all the time
Which-
because you and Mike,
which I did nothing with.
right?
So you were like doing all the things that I wanted to do but didn't do.
Yeah.
And then when I got out of college and I was struggling to put my life together as a early 20 something, I made sandwiches.
I feel like everyone at some point in their life should either work in the food industry or in the retail industry. Like that teaches you everything you need to know about the world in about a week. Because people suck.
Mhm.
And also people are really nice. So you gotta find that balance.
I used to have repeat customers that stood in my line specifically to have their sandwich
That's
made
cool.
because I did such a good job making sandwiches.
That is super
I have
cool.
a technique, and there were people that absolutely appreciated my technique, so they would stand in my line.
Yeah, it's funny. Every once in a while, I'll make something that I can remember off memory from the coffee shop, and it's funny because, like, I'm a 23-year-old guy. What do I make to eat randomly? I'm like, all right, I got this and this. I'm gonna put it together. It's not gonna taste good, but it's food. And then every once in a while, I'll break out like this strawberry salad with goat cheese and bacon bits and balsamic glaze. I'm like, yeah, this is good, because I would make that 5 times an hour at the restaurant. But no, it's funny. It is. I always find it
Yeah.
very cool and enlightening, like career paths and how one thing leads you to another, and what you will always take from other jobs to the next. So that's been cool. And even copywriting for Agency Coach, like I was a blog writer for Action VFX for a while. And like just learning how to write professionally and not just like, oh, I'm a storybook writer, which I still do. But I just think it's so cool how things like transfer. to that line. You know, the organization of a line cook, like because that's what I was, like assembly line. You know, you're just used to process and steps, and so it's pretty cool how that all works.
Yeah, there's definitely great life skills that get transferred. I think from every job, every experience that we have in our careers for sure. And then we latch on to things that we love. And we think, okay, how can I take that and put it somewhere else in a different way?
Yep.
Repackage it for
Yep.
myself.
And that is nice.
Yeah.
That is always when it works.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So like you said, you learned enough skills, even just, I mean, I'm sure it's a combination of, working with your dad in construction, plus agency coach, plus the coffee shop, whatever, to make your own business, right?
Right.
Like it's that variety and that like going into all different types of industries and just like different roles and things like that that can help you. It's and that builds over time, of course, right? So that, by the time you feel so much more confident, like in your 20s, you're kind of like
Yeah.
trying to figure stuff out and everything. And then that all builds and piles up into, okay, I get it.
Right.
Now I can do something with all of
Right.
these
And
mad skills that I've acquired.
when yeah, it's true. When you go around and when you have like done a lot of different work processes, like you realize it's kind of all the same. Like at the end of the day, it kind of all ends up being exactly the same, you know. And honestly, like it depends on what career path you choose. Like, of course, if you choose the 9 to 5 jobs, that's totally fine. You probably get paid really well and you have
There's a lot of
consistent
consistency.
exactly
Yeah.
consistent substantial
Mhm.
but if you do end up like I just recommend people get gigs, like just try stuff. You know, like that's how I've learned a lot of things in just life. Like the same year that I was working for Action VFX, I got in contact with a lot of people might know this on YouTube, but Zach King, he does a lot of the like VFX magician videos on he's been doing it since YouTube was a thing, like that he was my like idol, my inspiration when I was a kid, and I got in contact with his business partner, and I actually worked for him for a little bit, and that lasted 2 weeks because I couldn't handle it. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't handle the workload while working two other jobs, whereas and that was 2.5 years ago. Whereas now I work 4 jobs, or 1 job and 3 clients, and I'm like, oh, this is very easily manageable because I learned from those times
Right.
what not to do.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
very interesting how I love time, the concept of time, and I love seeing how it changes everything, and it's just cool to see how that all works out. You know, it is pretty cool. Speaking of time, too, a podcast. Like we've been wanting to do a podcast at Age the Coach forever, and it's exciting to like have something to start going with. Like,
Yeah.
I think I kind of wanted to discuss too, like what are our goals for this? Like, what's the plan going forward with this? Because whoever's listening right now is probably like, what? Who are these people? What is this?
I think that what we're looking to do is just to make a connection with people. I mean, one of the biggest things about Agency Coach is that we're all about a community and creating a space where people feel like they have support and they have, they can tap into other people's wisdom. So, such as, your brain, my brain, Mike, AJ, everybody on our team, but also everyone else that's participating in Agency Coach, right? So we have a wonderful member community, and I see mastermind people helping each other all the time, right? Like they have their Slack world that they live in, and somebody will say, hey, I'm trying to do this, has anybody done this? And somebody else pops in and says, oh yeah, I've done that. Here's how I did it, and maybe they have a template or they have an example or something like that. That, of course, that was the whole point of bringing people together like this, was not only to share the knowledge that we all have, but to also create an environment where everybody's sharing their ideas with each other. So I think that
Right.
that's one of the things, because I could see this show becoming an amazing place for us to speak to some of these wonderful human brains that are out there doing amazing things. And so I think that's going to be exciting and fun. I think we should be talking amongst ourselves, the Agency Coach team. We all have We all bring such interesting stories to the table, and wisdom. And then, yeah, I think interviewing our members and our community and things like that is also going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of partnerships too. There's some really great partnerships, and those partners I'm sure would love to come on and talk to us. They are always looking to share their wealth of information. That's why we have our other series that we do, our Agency Elevate series, which is free to everybody in the community to join in and learn from our partners. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of directions that we can go. And we can have a lot
Yeah.
of fun with
No,
this.
it's cool. It's exciting the expanse possibilities that we have because there are so many people that to talk
Yeah,
to. And I think the coolest thing, like at least where I'm also going with this with and what we're trying to do here is like kind of take back the veil a little bit of like one, there's a team behind Agency Coach. You know, it's not just Mike doing everything, which I wish he could do everything because that'd make him such an amazing person, more amazing than he is now. But we all work together. You know, that's
right.
it's a business, it's a team. So kind of breaking down those walls of like, hey, this is all of us, and just so you're more like anyone is more comfortable now knowing who's an agency coach, and you know, like I'm sure some members and people that might be watching this, like you've seen me at the live events, but you've probably never heard from me ever again or seen me around ever again. Or with Jen, same thing. Like a lot of people, like maybe they don't see as often. So having something that kind of breaks down that wall, breaks down the fourth wall of the agency, so to speak, is nice too. And even with all the other agency owners that we might and members that we might interview, because you know this podcast isn't to, you know, solely and always talk about business. It's to
Yeah,
talk about, yes, you have an agency, but what does that do for you and how is your life better? Like what do you like to do? What's
right,
your life like?
right.
Because at the end of the day, no matter who we are, where we come from, what agency we have, what status we have, millions of followers online, we're still human beings. We wake up, we go to sleep. And so breaking down that whole social construct and just saying, how's it going? What's new? Tell me about your kids. Tell me about your hobby. You like golf? That's cool. I like to play golf too. I think that's a I always love leveling with people and having conversations like that in just personal life. So it's nice to just get to know more people.
It's very much in alignment with, why we have events, because the event is, yes, here to teach you something, expose you to, more concepts and things like that. We have special guest speakers, things like that. However, everyone's favorite part, and ours is included, is the time that we just spend talking, right? So our mingling session, like our welcome, um, we always have a welcome party and everyone's mingling and just chatting and having some food and a drink and finding out, where are you from? What do you do? What's your life like? Right. Same thing
Yeah.
when we have the
It's like
dinners.
a old family reunion. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that, and then that's what forms those bonds and those friendships that then are beyond business, right? And you start to feel a support network forming and more people that you can just say, like, what about, you're an agency owner, right? And you're like stuck in your world all the time, right? And maybe you're solo, maybe you have one or two team members or something like that. But there's days when you just think, oh my God, can I just talk to another person who's doing what I'm doing?
yeah,
And
yeah.
when you form that connection, which I'm hoping this show contributes to that as well, you form those connections and think, I know who to call to just have a conversation about, like, oh my gosh,
Right. Can you believe what happened?
this
Like
client
this
did
client, dude.
this and this.
I have a friend of mine that I grew up with that she was in like this space too, and we
Mhm.
both we worked for this client mutually, doing video editing, and the client was not the best, and she still reaches out every once in a while. Sometimes just like a personal text, like, "Hey, like, hope you're doing well. Like, this is what's happening in my life," and we'll always send screenshots back to each other, like, "But we quit like violently. We both quit, said never again, and it's always like, hey, do you know of someone that can? And we're like, no, and then it's always back and forth. So having that camaraderie, like, it just reminded me of that
Yeah,
because it's
for
like,
sure.
yeah, clients get crazy, and just the business is nuts, and owning one
Right.
is so whirlwind.
I think the other great thing about podcasts and stuff like that is you can you hear from other people and can relate, right? You hear a relatable story. It gives you that sense of I am not alone. This happens to other people. It's totally
Right,
normal. It's common. It's whatever. So I mean,
right.
we listen to podcast. All of us. I'm sure most people listen to podcasts or watch something that makes them say that, right? Social
Yeah.
content. What do you share? What do you share on social content? The thing that makes you go, this reminded me of you, or
Right,
remember when this happened to us, right? Like
right.
those kinds of things. So
Yep,
again, another
exactly.
another great outcome for this show, I think.
No, I'm excited. It's gonna be like, so far. This has been like one of the birthplaces of this podcast was at our Monday meetings. It's me and Tanya, and we're like, okay, well, we can
Working on
sit and talk in
content.
our Monday meetings. We're working on content, and we sit and talk for like an hour while working, and it's like, well, why don't we just do this and make content out of it? So it already feels like it's gonna be something really exciting, and we hope that, like, you guys as an audience, we hope that you enjoy listening to us just yap and just talk about life and our business and your business and interview everybody. Like, we just hope it's enjoyable, and feel free to, like, because this will be on YouTube and all other platforms, like, just leave a comment, an idea or something you'd like us to talk about or review or
Or if you want to
discuss
be on the
or
show,
question. Or do you want to be on the show?
Yeah.
Or questions
Come
you
hang
have
out
about
with
your
us.
agency? Come hang out with us. Hang out in our community if you want to join. We have a really, I mean, our school community is almost at 3,000 agency owners that are very active, talking about their businesses and their wins, and everyone's supportive, and it's really cool. It is really, really cool. So, all the links you need will be down below in our description, obviously, or around the video wherever you're watching. So, yeah, feel free to reach out. We're people.
Yeah.
We're
And we
we're on
want
our
to talk
phones.
to you.
We're and we want to talk to you. And we're a digital marketing agency. I Maybe there's 30 seconds of my life that I put my phone down. I always have my phone on me. And notifications
This is
are always
true. No
on.
matter where Elijah is, I can count on him to at least give a thumbs up.
Always a thumbs up. And like, we're always, what are we? Because you're on the you're
Well,
west,
that's
like,
where
you're
we
way
haven't gotten
over.
into where
We haven't
the
gotten there. We'll get
game
into it in
of
another
Where's
episode.
Tanya today? Yes.
Yes, I was thinking that. Okay, so we'll get into this another time. But I started a game called Where in the World is Tanya Today, like 2 years ago, when I first, like a year in, when I was like, wait, Tanya's never in one spot for too long.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to keep playing that throughout this show too.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
think you were going
So
down
anyhow,
the
we're
path of
always
time
available.
zones and things or something, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm
you were
saying, like,
headed.
we're time zones apart. We're always available to like see comments. We'll respond to everything. It'll be because we're also excited about this. So we're gonna be watching, like, the
Yes.
views and the comments go. I'll be like, hey, yes, we'll respond. So
Absolutely. And speaking of, I'm always somewhere else. If like anybody who comes on the show or comments or something like that, like if you say like where you are, it's possible that I will stop by and say hi in person.
it's true. That is so
Yes.
true. If you wanna go get some good food with Tanya, I'm on the East Coast, so I'm kind of far from everybody. But Tanya will definitely be around.
I
So
will show up. I will show up.
she'll just show up. She'll just knock
Yeah.
on your door and say hello.
Let's go get a coffee. Let's go get lunch.
Let's go get a coffee. That's so funny.
What about that amazing food that we had in that little town with Jen? I met
Oh,
up
in
with-
Beacon,
I
New
met
York.
up with Elijah and Jen because they're not too far from each
Yes.
other. Especially at the time
Yeah.
I was visiting, they've moved, but not too
Right.
far from each other. And we went to, where did we go? You say Pekin?
Beacon,
Beacon.
New York. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we had, was that
So good.
Where was that food from? Was it?
So there's a place. It's called the Hudson Valley Food Hall, and
Yes.
it's like a big hall, really, and then there's also like little food vendors throughout it, and
Right.
there's Peruvian food. There's
think-
really good
I think we had
barbecue.
Peruvian. I think the Peruvian was
We
our
did have
favorite.
Peruvian.
We maybe tried a
It's super
couple
good.
of the stalls, but I think the Peruvian was the
Yeah.
best. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was really, really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that spot.
That's like
Beacon's a
it's
cool
like a
little
mini. It's like a mini Chelsea. Because
Yes,
what's that one called?
Chelsea Market.
The
in
Chelsea
city.
Market. Yeah. Because I did that
Yes.
with Jen and
Yep.
Edgar and Santi. So
Yeah. No, I do love Chelsea Market too.
yeah,
But yeah, we'll definitely get into like some of our best food spots too on another episode because
for sure. We love
boy
to talk
boy
food.
do we have them,
Yeah,
and we love to talk food.
Yeah.
I'm
and we
gonna-
can ask
honestly.
any guest about their favorite foods or regional
Yes.
foods. Regional foods are super awesome
Regional
because
foods.
since I'm moving around so much and I'm going to all these different places, people tell me about the specialty of the area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the one?
I'm trying to think I'm trying to think of the specialty around here. Where I am, I'm a little bit more upstate New York. It's a lot of apple cider donuts and cider because there's a
Oh,
lot of apple
yum.
farms and cideries. Yeah, so Angry Orchard, like the cider company, is just about a town over from me.
Oh,
It's
Fun.
super close. Yeah. So I
Fresh
actually
apple cider.
and I have never been there. I need to go
oh my
to the
gosh.
cidery. But yeah, I think that's a big thing because they live in apple country. So apple cider and the apple cider donuts specifically. You got to go to like very specific, like middle of nowhere farm markets to get the good apple cider donuts. But I think that would be
Interesting.
my regional food here at least.
Interesting.
Well, Tanya, thank you for starting this with me. This is gonna be great. I'm pretty excited. So we're gonna try and keep it a consistent schedule. We'll see how life hits us and how this works out. But yeah, I would just say subscribe. Share it with your friends. Talk to us, comment. We're everywhere. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're online. We have the Agency Coach website. Like we're anywhere you look for us, we're there. Have a great one. Thanks for listening. Bye.